No LeBron, no problem. The Lakers' 138-122 win over the Utah Jazz on Wednesday was not only the team's sixth win in its past 7 games heading into the NBA All-Star break, but it represented a declaration of identity. That according to Anthony Davis, AD.
Not what we can be, but it's who we are. I mean, it's game whatever, and we got to have our identity, and we're starting to establish that. We're gonna be a fast-paced team. A team like to get in the paint, get to the line, but then also be tenacious on the defensive end. So creating that identity. For what we have to be moving forward. We can't be coming after All-Star and, all right, what type of team are we? And, this is what we have to be and all that. Like, this is who we are. And we got to make sure that how we're playing as of late the past 2, 3, 4 weeks, keeping the identity and carrying over to post-All-Star.
Interesting stuff right there. Oh, look at us, a little rainbow right now. Hi, Monica. Hi, Brian. Good morning. Good to see you both. Stephen A., I'm going to start with you. Have the Lakers found their identity?
It's hard to say because every time you say that, Molly, all of a sudden they nosedive. But let's give credit where credit is due. This is a team that was in the Western Conference Finals last year. This year, this month of February, they're 8-2. Okay, in this month. They're 8-2, rather, when Reeves, Hachimura, and Russell are in the starting lineup together with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So we have to pay attention to that and recognize that level of synergy that we saw them develop in the aftermath of the trading deadline last season was what propelled them to the Western Conference Finals. That's what we're starting to see now. And so then it gives you an opportunity and a license there, I say, to really, really fantasize. Anthony Davis has been a superstar. There is no way around it. This brother shows up night in, night out. I called him Six Flags simply because he was hurt, and you never knew when he was going to play. Every other game, it was just up and down, up and down. That has not been the case this year. He has shown up. He is a worthy dude for the All-Star. I actually had him as a starter in the All-Star game because I think he's been that phenomenal. And if he continues to play like this, if Hachimura, Russell, and Reeves do what they're capable of doing, all of whom, by the way, are averaging 20 points and 5 assists this month. All 4 of them, LeBron, AD, D'Angelo Russell, and Austin Reeves are all averaging 20 points and 5 assists a game at least. They continue to do that, then that is their identity. And if that's their identity, we can't summarily dismiss their championship aspirations. They won't be anybody's favorite, but we can't dismiss them and the threat that they are because of the greatness of LeBron coupled by the greatness of Anthony Davis.
Stephen A., I agree. You do not close the door on LeBron James, and Anthony Davis is absolutely having an all-star caliber year. 25-12, he's been on the floor, which is huge. But on the graphic we have on the bottom here, guys, 6-1 in the last 7 games. Y'all know who that one is to? It is the Denver Nuggets. And that's no shade because the Denver Nuggets are the reigning champs and a championship caliber team. And so while I do appreciate AD acknowledging what this team needs to do to be successful, it is going to be so imperative that they do it at an extremely high level to get into that upper echelon. Do I think that this is a team that can possibly move out of that play-in? I'm not ruling it out. They could end up 6 before it's all said and done. Do I think that this is a top 4 team? And based on what we've seen in the first half of the season, no. And so I think understanding how they need to play, it takes a little bit of time. They've landed on it. Now, I still have questions on whether or not they can maintain that consistency because even as we're excited about last night's game, I think Rui Hachimura is a tremendous piece. But what did he put up, 36? There are some outlier things that have happened. And honestly, it's been a little bit of a tinkering when LeBron James is on the floor. Not that you don't want him on the floor, but I think last night was one of those opportunities where guys just felt free because LeBron wasn't available. And so I still think that they are putting it all together.
Stephen A., a month ago, if I'd have compared this team to the Showtime Lakers, you would have kicked me off the show. You'd have said, get to the door, don't come back until you get right in the head. But I'm here to tell you that over this last 11 games, they have had the best offensive run since 1987. And I realize that we are in an era where it's fast-paced, but the point is that this Lakers offense which was really their big problem, has been supercharged. They are averaging 126 points in that span. They are third in offense, and they are hitting the second in three-point shooting. This is one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league for the first half of the season. So we are definitely in a stretch here. So you look at, well, why is that happening? How has that happened? The first answer is D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell moved into the starting lineup about 15 games ago. It actually was a game in Utah. It's sort of he's in between these two Utah games, and he has just flat out been awesome. You know, the Lakers have been looking for sort of another major contributor. That's what they were sniffing around on in January at the trade deadline, and they got it here. Now whether or not he is famous in his career for going up and down. He's been an all-star. He's been benched. And so I have no idea where this is going to continue, but his influx of offense has lifted the Lakers and given them a margin for error. But the second thing, and I think the most important thing, is that they are now playing bigger. With Hachimura in the lineup, they have that huge front line when LeBron plays, and playing big is so important in the Western Conference because the Thunder, as good as they are, struggle with size. The Warriors struggle with size. The Clippers even, at times, struggle with size. And if you're going to go against the Nuggets or you're going to go against the Wolves, you have to play with size. So Darvin Ham going to this lineup, number one, getting Austin Reeves and Russell to be playing well together, but also getting effective play from their biggest guys is giving them at least a chance going forward.
You got the Lakers as the second best in offensive rating behind only the Celtics, and best assist-to-turnover ratio in the league for the month of February. We get that. We understand how impressive that is. But we do have to take into account when you bring up historical comparisons, Wendy, this ain't 1987. This ain't 1980. This ain't even 1995. Times have changed significantly, particularly as it pertains to the style of play in the NBA. The league has fostered more offense, and so we have to take that with a grain of salt and cap it like that. Having said all of that, I do think that the measuring stick is the reigning defending NBA champions. And, you know, all we have to point to is what we see from the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, they're the best team in the NBA right now, best record, et cetera, et cetera. Got at least a 6-game lead on the Cleveland Cavaliers. But let's rewind the clock to last year. Most of us walking into that Miami series against Boston not only had Boston likely winning the series, we were praying they would because we suspected Denver would win, and we knew that Miami was just too small and wasn't going to be a good enough matchup for Denver because they were just too undersized. In the case of the Boston Celtics, we didn't feel that way. And so when you think about it from that standpoint, now you look at the Lakers. You look at the size that they have, the size that they're capable of putting on the front court. We've been raving about the Clippers for weeks now because the Clippers are an offensive juggernaut, and we get that. But size could potentially be an issue for them. And if size is an issue for them, we're not going to want that problem. We're going to want to see a team that's going up against the Denver Nuggets that legitimately have a shot to beat them. We question the Minnesota Timberwolves because we think they're too young, but we know they have size. We know the Lakers have size, but are they too old? You see what I'm saying? So you just wonder about it from that standpoint, and that's where you are. But I'm hopeful that this is a sign of times to come for the Los Angeles Lakers, because if it is, they could make another run to the conference finals.
Yeah. Monica, I think your room service is ready if you want to get that. I think your omelet, I heard your omelet and your pancakes are right outside the door. If you want to go get it.
No pancakes, Molly, but omelet, yes.
I got a quick take for Stephen A. I know, you're on your
I knew it was a food order.
I
knew it was a food order, Eminem.
You can go take that call. Okay, quick take. Let's get it. Stephen A., check on this full court pregame shot from Steph Curry. All right, I need to just watch this too. Unreal. But Stephen A., does this even surprise you from him anymore because he's just so ridiculous?
Nothing involving shooting surprises me from Steph Curry. I've been in attendance back in the day at the Oracle where I saw this brother pull up from the tunnel and literally make shots. It's what he does. And so to me, I've religiously stated he's the greatest shooter God has ever created. There is no distance. There is no angle he can't shoot from and make shots that normal humans simply can't make. He's just that special as a shooter, as a marksman.
Yeah, it looks like the Clippers were the better shooters last night.